Hello, and thank you for taking time this weekend to join us here on KREM 2 News. I'm Cody Proctor, and this is the KREM 2 News Weekend Review. We know life gets busy, and it can be tough to keep up with all the news. So let's get you updated on some of the headlines from this past week.
Well, construction is clearly top of mind for our Eastern Washington local lawmakers as the capital budget is earmarked for various new developments and projects across Spokane. Senator Marcus Riccelli and Eastern Washington Representatives Natasha Hill and Tim Ormsby put dollars towards the city's law enforcement, a new crisis relief center, affordable housing for seniors, and lodging for cancer patients. Those are just some of the projects, and more are listed on your screen now, ranging from healthcare to social services, park facilities, education, and even sports. One of those projects is 2 new buildings for the Salish School of Spokane.
This is a converted house. This room itself fails its inspection every year because technically it's too low, but it's always been used for education, so they allow it.
The capital budget set aside $2.5 million for a new recreation center and school building that will serve a projected 60 students on 3 acres of land near Whistle Talks Way.
We use every square inch here, but we don't have private offices. We're all up on top of each other, just so crowded.
Staff says the space is vitally needed for both students and for the larger community.
Just absolutely thrilled.
I spoke with Senator Riccelli, who says the construction will bring more hard hats and helmets, signs of new jobs that will help boost the local economy.
Legislative team in the 3rd District, Representative Hill, Representative Ormsby and I, we look at different projects and come together. I think we have a very high rate of success in return for our community because we work collaboratively. We're really trying to hit so many corners of importance, key essential services, but also things that help grow our economy, and I'm excited about the results.
Senator Riccelli also says funding for the North-South Freeway is on track and that he emphasizes it's time to get it done. He is pleased to report that it's expected to be completed by 2030. Governor Bob Ferguson now has 3 weeks to sign that budget into law. If he does not, he will have to call the legislature back into special session. Reporting in Spokane, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
After weeks of funding delays, policy bans, and the firing of staff, parents and Head Start providers are suing the Trump administration, asking a judge to block what they call unlawful efforts to dismantle the early education program.
We're going to be leaving a generation of kids behind.
Joel Ryan heads the Washington State Association leading the lawsuit. He says the Trump administration's actions violate a congressional mandate to keep Head Start running. ACLU attorneys like Janessa Calvo-Friedman also claim some of the administration's rules against diversity, equity, and inclusion are ambiguous and vague.
What it does is it creates a tool that can be used to arbitrarily punish anybody when they want to.
Leaving behind uncertainty and fear foster parent Katrina Gardner lives with daily.
A pillar in our community just disappear, we'd all be lost.
She's had 3 foster kids in Spokane's Northeast Head Start, including her son Thomas.
He had a lot of behavioral needs. He was very developmentally delayed, socially, emotionally delayed, and they accepted him with open arms, and my child made friends for the first time.
A life changer
And
for a tragically short life.
You know, Thomas, unfortunately, he started in September and passed the following July, unexpectedly. And, you know, the center and the community center, but his teachers and the staff just rallied around us as a family.
Gardner says the unique population served by Head Start would be devastated to see it disappear. Ryan says that impact's already played out when a center in Sunnyside closed temporarily because of funding delays.
So that's 400 families that didn't have any childcare, who were trying to go to work. And those kids were missing out on really critical intervention services.
Gardner knows many families that wouldn't be able to survive without these services. She worries about losing her own Head Start family.
My kids get up each day and are so excited to go to school, to see their friends and their teachers. to see their family.
Shannon Mowdy,
Because that's exactly what Head Start is. It's another part of your family.
KREM 2 News.
In continuing coverage this week.
About a dozen parents and students dotted the seats at the Mead School District's board meeting Monday night. The reason? Possible changes to the district's transgender student policy as they try balancing both state law and federal policy. It's something Mead School Board President Michael Cannon says isn't taken lightly and affects many students.
It's an issue. It's not insignificant. I think opponents would be quick to say, oh, there's only a handful. That's not true at all.
The proposed transgender policy would have students use their name in lieu of pronouns. It would also look at locker room access on a case-by-case basis and have any students on overnight trips be assigned where to sleep based on their sex at birth. Mom Justina Sullivan spoke at Monday's meeting, saying the proposed policy would bring problems for students who identify as transgender.
There's an increase in bullying and violence against transgender and gender nonconforming kids when they're forced into personal spaces that do not align with their gender identity. There are real-life consequences for stigmatizing and othering these kids.
The board decided to table voting on the policy until more discussions between the public and the state superintendent's office can be made.
Before our next step, we'll just pause and have some more discussion about our next options.
As of now, no date's been set on when they'll try to vote on this again. Until then, Cannon says he looks forward to hearing from community members.
And I certainly respect and want to hear from any member of the public, especially within our district. Certainly want to hear all voices. I think there's just a difference of opinion about what constitutes discrimination.
As we go to break, here's a check of your weekend forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Before we get back to this week's headlines, we want to remind you you can get the latest news and weather forecast anytime you want on KREM 2 Plus. It's our streaming app you can watch on your TV, and best of all, it's free. We hope you'll check it out, but now let's get back to the Week in Review. KREM 2 News is committed to bring you more to every story. Here now, a deeper look behind the headline.
We just got this Pullman police body camera video from our public records request. This is the first time we hear the grad student side of what happened that night.
You're Patrick. I'm Patrick.
This is the WSU grad student who allegedly attacked another student wearing a Trump hat. Pullman police body camera video shows officers piecing together what happened that night.
You're bleeding? Yeah.
WSU student Jay Sani told officers Patrick Mahoney grabbed his Trump hat and threw it in the street. He responded by throwing his food at Mahoney, and that's when things escalated.
Slammed my head against the concrete, and then I walked away, and then he told me to you. Like, you see, I'm like, f off. And I get some people might find this sensitive, but this is 2025, man. It's just a hat.
Police eventually found Mahoney in downtown Pullman, where he shared his version of what happened. He admitted to throwing the hat, saying he thought that would be the end of it.
I touched his hat, full. I admit to touching his hat, right? I didn't hit him, right? Like, I didn't do anything to him. As soon as I turned around, he hit me, right?
How did he hit you?
I honestly, cannot recall exactly how it happened. It was either a body check or like a grab you.
Mahoney also admits to hitting the student in the jaw. He's charged with 4th-degree assault.
There's no place on our campus for people who may be disrespectful, may be unwilling to let people express their views.
WSU spokesperson Phil Weiler says the university's code of conduct emphasizes respect among students and staff. He says those who violate this are held accountable by what the university deems an appropriate action.
It's our responsibility to ensure that when there are debates and discussions on campus, that it's done in a way that's fair, it's non-confrontational. People need to be respectful of each other.
I didn't hit him, body check him.
The university could not give details on a code of conduct review for this incident, but WSU confirms Mahoney is relieved of his teaching duties indefinitely, but remains a WSU grad student.
Now, Mahoney has a pretrial hearing next month for the assault charge. Right now, though, you can watch the body camera videos of Mahoney and the WSU student in full on our KREM 2 YouTube page. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
In 3 months, we've had 3 insurance companies.
Over the last several months, KTVB has shared the stories of Idahoans with homes in high-risk wildfire areas struggling to stay insured.
I didn't get a letter, I didn't get notification, I didn't get reasons, I was just dropped.
It's a growing issue the Idaho Department of Insurance is looking into.
We know that the market in Idaho is changing.
The department says of the 91 property insurance companies in Idaho 2 years ago, 22 to 25 have not renewed some or all of their policies, partially due to wildfire concerns.
Wildfire seasons have been getting a little more intense, so we want to get this information to see, does the data tell us what's happening to our market? So maybe there's something we can do to help mitigate these issues.
To get that data, Market Oversight Bureau Chief Shannon Hull says they're requiring companies to send in certain information.
Things like how much premium have they written? How much premium did they charge homeowners in Idaho? Where are they writing their business? What are the zip codes where they have homeowners that they're covering?
The department hopes the stats will help them come up with solutions, potentially from the State House.
Essentially what it does is it sets up a fund.
A failed bill last session would have helped Idahoans prepare their homes for wildfire season.
One of the questions asked was, well, how do you know that this is needed? How do you know that changes are needed? So we're hoping that this data will help show what's happening in Idaho, and that will then support if we see any options for making some changes or improvements.
Thank you for watching the KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Cody Proctor. It's been a busy week all across the Inland Northwest, so let's help catch you up on some stories you might have missed.
I'm here at Grant Park in South Hill. Now, as you can see behind me, it's a very active day here in the community. There's t-ball going on in the back, and there are people enjoying the playground. But it's spaces like this, along with schools, libraries, transit, and community centers, where under a new emergency interim ordinance, gas stations or convenience stores can't sell alcohol within 500 feet of. New changes are now in effect throughout Spokane, aimed at boosting public health and safety.
This is going to have a positive impact on a lot of our neighborhoods.
Councilmember Paul Dillon, along with the rest of City Council, passed a new emergency zoning ordinance targeting off-premises alcohol locations near community spaces,
which contributes to underage consumption and more poor public health outcomes.
Just to clarify, this isn't targeting businesses who already exist, but rather stop new ones from getting their liquor license within a specific zoning area. Here is the main difference between on and off premises alcohol locations. On premises would be like a bar, a brewery, or a restaurant where drinks are enjoyed inside of a location. Off premises would be like a convenience store or gas station where alcohol can be bought and taken out of the location. Dillon says one of the main pushes for this ordinance stems from data between 2022 and 2024 that shows a 64% increase in alcohol-related crimes in downtown Spokane. So now the city says it wants to intervene and stop these predatory businesses from popping up in low-income neighborhoods to protect both the community and its youth. While there wasn't a lot of public comment on the ordinance at Monday's meeting, one man voiced his opinion against it, saying the council's focusing on the wrong substance.
Are you kidding me? Look around. Spokane isn't being destroyed by a bottle of beer or liquor. It's being destroyed by fentanyl and meth.
Off camera, a local mother tells KREM 2 she is down the middle when it comes to this ordinance. While she understands and agrees with the safety aspects, she feels like those who can be trusted around alcohol shouldn't be punished for those who can't. Now, just to be clear, this is an interim ordinance, meaning that it isn't set in stone just yet. The City Council has set a public hearing date for June 16th. In Spokane, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
It's time for spring cleaning, and this week more than 100 Spokane volunteers are rolling up their sleeves and cleaning up downtown Spokane, starting with the sidewalks. This week, volunteers,
It's pretty fun, it's easy.
are putting in the steps
Headed to First Ave in Washington.
to give downtown Spokane a clean sweep.
It's a lot less trash than I expected.
Jerry Barth is a first-time volunteer. He signed up for the Downtown Spokane Partnership's 10th annual Spring Clean Week to give back to the community.
I own a business downtown here, and I'm just looking to help make downtown a more inviting, friendly place to be.
DSP recorded more than 100 hours of volunteer time during last year's spring cleanup. This year, DSP's Elizabeth Hooker expects those hours to triple.
And our clean team takes a lot of pride in their work, but nothing can top the effort from community members who come out and say thank you through their volunteerism. And that's what is part of what makes Spring Clean Week so special.
All this work is in preparation for Bloomsday this weekend. Volunteers will focus on different areas each day, such as parking lots, alleyways, then planter beds.
Now I can walk on the sidewalk and it's clean.
With each step and every sweep, these volunteers are making Spokane a bit brighter.
It's a lot of fun to just meet some new people and just make your community a little bit brighter and cleaner.
If you have some free time during your lunch break this week and you'd like to help Spokane look its best, you can register online with the Downtown Spokane Partnership. Reporting in downtown Spokane, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Before we wrap up this edition of the KREM 2 News Week in Review, we have one more story you might have missed this past week.
Well, two local 7th graders from Highland Middle School are learning how to mix social studies with Bloomsday. Calvin Fortier and Broderick Webb are just two of 257th graders at Highland Middle School working on their final history project.
It generates a lot of money, and it's been going for like 30, 40 years now. So it's important that people come up here, and Spokane's not like a super big city, so it's like a really big main event.
So they raised about $20 million in 2004 and like $14 million last year.
And what does that do for the community? Why is that so important?
It helps with charities and hospitals.
As they finalize their research on the impacts of Bloomsday, running the race and learning from Bloomsday staff is a chance to get an A++.
That's the beauty of education, is when you can give students, hands-on, practical experience. When the classroom learning can go on outside the classroom.
7th graders across Mead School District work on these projects all semester long, with a final presentation at the end.
And we have to write like a whole page and then source information like the author and when it was published and stuff like that.
So for these two, it's a chance for both fun and learning about the huge impact Bloomsday has across communities of Spokane. Who is going to get to the ribbon first?
Me.
I have more energy than him.
Okay, he's had more experience, but I'm gonna beat him.
And those gearing up for Bloomsday like Calvin and Broderick, don't forget that the check-in process starts on Friday and the race starts 9 a.m. sharp on Sunday. Reporting right here in downtown Spokane, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
Thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Be sure to keep it here for more news and weather updates throughout the weekend. I'm Cody Proctor. Thanks for watching.